Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about external funding opportunities for international graduate students in a research program. My name is Cecilia Kramer. I'm the advisor of Fellowship Application Development here at the School of Graduate Studies at Concordia University. And I work along Catherine Belloso. She's the External Awards Advisor. For any question that you may have about eligibility criteria or what opportunities you may have, you can talk to her. You have the email right now in the screen. Once you decided what opportunity you're going to be applying of all of these ones that we're going to be talking, you can contact me and we can start working on your application. So let's start talking with what we have for today. So as we know, I repeated many times, the awards here at Concordia are divided in two major categories. The internal awards and external awards. Internal awards, I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm just going to focus in external awards, and I'm going to be talking about tri-agencies, FRQ, and other external donations or private funding opportunities that you may have. Just to have an idea, here at Canada, here at Quebec, we have two major funding agencies. They are going to be funding research-based programs. If you're in a course-based program, these opportunities are not going to be for you. But if you're in a master's research or thesis or a PhD research program, these are for you. So basically, we have the federal agencies that we call the tri-agencies. They're going to be funding opportunities on the social sciences and humanities that we call SHERC, natural sciences and engineering, and CERC, and they're going to be funding also health research through the Canadian Institute of Health Research, CIHR. The provincial counterpart, the Fonds de Recherche du Québec, they will have also a specific agency for Société et Culture, FRQSC, Nature et Technologie, FRQNT, et Santé, FRQS. Selecting the appropriate agency is crucial, and we're going to know in a second. But of course, like if you're in technology, you're in an engineering department, you should be applying to NSERC or to FRQNT, or both if you are eligible. And just keep that in mind, because if you are from the technology and you're applied to SHERC or FRQSC, then someone from society will be reading your application, and that will be against your case, actually. So let's start talking about tri-agencies and what opportunities do they have for international students. You will see that tri-agencies, they have a Canada Graduate Research Scholarship for masters, but unfortunately, this is only for Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and protected persons. These programs for masters are not allowing international candidates this year. And let's talk about the doctoral program. The doctoral program this year, let's say in CERC, SHERC, or CIHR, it will be allowing international students to apply for this opportunity. We're going to see with what conditions. The value is $40,000 per year for up to 3 years. As I say, open to Canadian citizens, permanent residents, protected persons, and international students, but only 15% up to 50% of the awards are going to be allocated to international students. We're going to see what this means. You must have completed no more than 36 months in your program, so you can apply before starting the program, and in the first 36 months, by December 31st of the calendar year of your application. So, as I always say, paper, pen, and start counting how many months are you going to be by December 31st. And one specific thing for international students, you must be enrolled in the program, in the doctoral program of study at Concordia or at an eligible Canadian institution. So if you are thinking about starting your PhD program in 2026 and you haven't applied for admissions, then you might not apply for this opportunity. This is only for students, international students that are enrolled in their doctoral program. There is a pre-selection process in Concordia. I'm not going to explain everything what it means, but we're going to have some quotas. So the pre-selection process in Concordia, it means that when you're going to apply through the application portal, they're going to ask you your status, right? If you're currently registering a degree program at a Canadian institution with a doctoral award quota, which Concordia has, and you're an international student, so this is the only opportunity, this is the only status that you may have as an applicant, then it tells you that you should submit the application to the Canadian institution at which the applicant is currently registered. This does not mean that you have to send your applications to us. You still have to send the application through the agency's platforms. But what you need to pay attention now is that there is an internal Concordia deadline, okay? Because this pre-selection process that I'm going to tell you in a second, it has to happen. So Concordia sets an internal deadline. You are going to be applying, submitting your application through the portal. And when they ask you which university, you're going to put Concordia. And that's how we are going to be retrieving your application and start all the pre-selection that is happening at the university. You do not have to send us anything to us. Only through the platform, to the portals, by the internal Concordia deadline. The internal Concordia deadline for now are tentatives. Both SSHRC and NSERC and CIHR, they're going to be late September. This is tentative because the competitions are not open at this moment. They are going to be open July 8 and 9. So as soon as I have it open, and if you're seeing this video after July 8 or 9, check in the description of the video, you will have the deadlines there. And why we have different internal deadlines? You can only submit one scholarship per academic year. So you have to choose CIHR, NSERC, or SSHRC. If you submit more than one application, only the first one will be eligible, okay? So if you want to, for some reason, apply to NSERC and SSHRC, and you apply first to a SSHRC and then to NSERC, then we can only count the SSHRC one. But again, you can only submit one to CIHR, to NSERC, or to SSHRC, okay? As I mentioned, Concordia has quotas, and that's why the pre-selection process happened. This is from last year. We still don't know how many quotas we have this year, but what these quotas mean. For example, last year in SSHRC, we had 72 quotas. It means that we were only allowed as a university to send 72 applications to the national competition, okay? For NSERC was the same, 20. And was the same, was 20, and for CIHR was 3. What does it mean? Let's say for NSERC we have 20. We might have received 60 applications, but here we only have to select the top 20. So there's an internal process, there is an internal committee that is evaluating all the applications, and they are ranking the applications for us to decide which ones are going to be moving forward to the external competition. The internal committee are going to base their selection criteria as the same selection criteria that tri-agencies have. This is 50% academic excellence and 50% research potential. One important note that for you international students want to pay attention to, a maximum of 15% of the awards will be allotted to international applicants. What does this mean? This means that even if you are allowed to apply for this competition, the competition will be extremely high. So my advice is you should only apply if you have a very strong academic record. What does it mean to have a strong academic record? It's like you shine in every aspect. You have a high GPA in your undergrad and in your graduate studies if you finish your master's. So we're looking for A students, a solid record of publications. You have already publications to showcase. Active conference participations, research presentations. You will need to present 2 reference letters, so strong letters of recommendation, and of course, a very clear and very original research proposal. If you're a bit confused, you don't know if your file is achieving these standards. So come talk to me. We can evaluate it. We can think like, okay, if this is worth it, the work or not. So we can talk about it and we can make a decision. I just want to make this comment here for those of you that know the Vanier Canada Graduate Scholarship for PhDs. This program has been discontinued. It no longer exists. So if you are thinking about applying to the Vanier, then your only option will be applying for the tri-agency doctorates. Let's move to the FRQ awards. These are eligible for international students. We're going to see in a second how. So we have all the programs here, FRQNT, FRQSC, and FRQS. You can apply before starting your program and with no more than 3 full-time terms as of May 1st of the following year. So we'll see what this means also. Have a first-class average in your undergrad studies. The value is $20,000 per year for up to 2 years. It's non-renewable, and the application deadline is early October. We don't have the specific dates already because the competitions are still not open. Again, if you are really watching this video, late July, beginning of August, the deadline is going to be on the description of the video. For doctorals, again, you can apply before starting your program and within no more than 14 full-time terms, which means 4 years and 2 terms as of May 1st of the following year. Make a rule, when did you start the program and start counting how many terms. This is $25,000 per year for up to 4 years. And again, the deadline, we don't have it yet, but it's in early October. So as an international student, how can you apply to these FRQ awards? You will see that the eligibility criteria, the first eligibility criteria that is listed in the website is be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and have a health insurance card, the RAMQ. Of course, as an international student, you don't have any of those things. But if you have the proof of admission to a program of study at Quebec, if you are already admitted at Concordia University, then yes, you can apply showing the letter of admission, just the first page of the letter of admission, and you are eligible to apply. You don't have it because you haven't been accepted to the program yet, or you're thinking about next year and you haven't even applied to the program, then you can apply for the FRQ if you have the acceptance form from a research supervisor at the Quebec University. This is what is called the supervisor's form. You have to only apply with the supervisor's form if you're still not admitted in the program. So if you're already talking to a professor at Concordia and they vouch for you and they say like, yes, you're gonna get admitted to the program and I will be your supervisor, but apply to the program first and then we'll see. Okay, so they can write the supervisor's form and this way you can apply to FRQ. Here are the eligibility periods. As I say, masters no more than 3 full-time terms as of May 1st, 2026. What does it mean? If you started the program before May 1st, 2025, you're not eligible. You can apply before the program, before starting the program, but you should start your program between May 1st, 2026 and January 2027, okay? So you can apply this year, but you have to start the program next year. And for doctorals, of course, less than 14 semesters in the program by May 1st, 2026. FRQ can be very confusing, and nowadays it might be a bit more confusing. Don't worry, don't panic. This year, FRQ changed the look of their portal, and it changed how to access the FRQNet account. My first advice, the competitions are not open, but you can start creating an FRQNet account. This is how it looks like right now. Just create an account and start getting familiar with the portal. As soon as the competition open, I create a video and I will post it in this playlist for you to have an idea of how to access the application that you want to access and not apply to anything else, okay? Now, I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about this specific award that is from FRQ as well, but it's what we call the PBEEE. It's the Quebec Merit Scholarship for Foreign Students. This is not the same as the Concordia Merit Scholarship. This is an internal award that is managed by Concordia. This one is for international students and is managed by FRQ. Okay, we call it PBEEE. So this, as I say, this is open to international students only. This is the only award at FRQ that has a pre-selection process in Concordia. The FRQ regular master's and PhD, they do not have a pre-selection process. You just apply through the portal, but this one, it does have a pre-selection process. As I say, it's only for international students. If you have applied to a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, then you are not eligible anymore. This has master's, PhD, postdoctorals, and short-term research. It's open to all sectors. The good thing about this award is that it also includes tuition remission and health insurance card. So if you get this award, you will get a RAMQ. As I say, there is a pre-selection process in Concordia. Therefore, there is an internal Concordia deadline, and it's July 31st. So here you have the eligibility criteria in terms of periods. For masters, is the same as the regular FRQ masters. You cannot have completed more than 3 full-time terms as May 1st of the following year. It says if we are 2025, if you started your program by May 1st, 2025, before, you are not eligible. You can apply before starting the program. That's an important aspect. For PhDs, you cannot have completed more than 9 full-time terms in your PhD by May 1st of the following year. So this will account for 3 years. You can apply before starting the program, but you only have 9 terms. Okay, this is different than the FRQ doctoral that you have 14 terms. This is only 9. Postdocs, you must have obtained your PhD no more than 2 years. And for short-term research, it's also for postdocs and researchers. So you must have obtained your PhD no more than 5 years. Okay? These are the values. For master is 20,000 per year up to 2 years. For PhDs is 25,000 per year up to 3 years. For postdoctorals is 35,000 per 1 year. And the short term is 3,000 per month up to 4 months. And as I say, FRQ also offers the RAMQ. So if you check our website, you will have the step-by-step of how to apply for this award. I'm going to share it here with you. We're going to see it together. But you find all this information in our website. First is to determine if you're eligible, right? So if we see here, we will see our quotas. So the same way that the tri agencies provide quotas for us, PBEEE also give us quotas. And what does it mean? For example, for masters, we have 4 nominations for quotas. So we can only send 4 students to the external competition. For the doctoral, we also have 4 nominations, but we also have some specific nominations that can come from different countries. So for example, if you are from India and you're applying for the PBEEE, then in the selection process, you will be applying, of course, for the open one, but also apply for the India one, okay? Because then you may have extra chances. Same if you are from Brazil, from Israel, or from Wallonia, okay? So you have that extra opportunity. China, there is a pre-selection that is done by China. So I will advise you to contact your home university and see how they can create this selection for you to be nominated by this award. So the second step for you to do is to inform Concordia University. So you can contact the graduate program director. I will put the link in the website, in the description of the video. So you will contact your graduate program director and you will let them know that you want to apply for the PBEEE. And in our website, you can find the pre-selection application forms. There are 4 different ones. One is for masters, another one is for PhD, another one is for postdoc, and then the last one is for the short term. The main sections of the master's and the PhD, mainly, that you will have to write, they are all explained in the form. I'm just going to mention them here, but they're all explained in the form. You will have to write a maximum of 1 page of the justification of application and interest in research, basically explain why you want to undertake higher studies in this field and justify your choice of university and research director. Also, you may want to explain why you want to do the research in Quebec. So that's 1 page. Then you will have the aptitudes and experience section. You will have 1 page to list your publications, follow-up to communications, and any other contributions. You have all the details of what this means in the form. Then you have an extra page to talk about the research projects and the internships that you have completed. You have half page to list all the scholarship and prizes. Think about all the awards that you have won, even if you were in the dean's list, all these prizes, mentions, and all these things, you can add them here. And another half page about other information relevant to evaluation of the application. Whatever you want the reviewers to know about you, you can add it in there. Then you will have also 1 page of the description of the research project. We have to know about the issue, the research goals, and the methodology, and everything in 1 page. Ideally, the research project should be drafted in collaboration with the research director, and it will clearly describe your research project, okay? Then you will have a maximum of 3 to 5 relevant publications as part of a bibliography, and finally, half a page to describe the contributions to the advancement of knowledge. So that's what it's embedded in the application form. Once you have that, or in the meantime that you're working on that, you have to obtain 2 letters of reference of referees who are familiar with your work for master's or PhD. If you're currently engaged in a supervised research, it means that you already have a supervisor, then one of your referees should be your supervisor. If not, you can comment, you can include a brief letter of explanation explaining why your supervisor is not one of your referees. The second referee can be someone, a former supervisor, someone that can attest your aptitude to research, a former collaborator, a former professor. They have to write the letter of reference form and send it directly to your nominating department, okay? If you're applying for the postdoctoral scholarship or the short term, then you have to write a letter, you have to ask your supervisor or your proposed supervisor a letter of acceptance form, and then your other 2 referees, they have to be the other 2 people. So you will have your proposed supervisor writing the letter of acceptance form and other 2 referees writing those 2 reference letters. Step 4, verify the application. So you have the checklist, you have it in the form, ensure that all the letters of recommendations are submitted, ensure that you have provided the department with a copy of all your university transcripts. Please note, at this stage of the pre-selection process, we are okay with unofficial transcripts, but you will be required to supply official transcripts directly to FRQ if you get selected by Concordia. We're going to talk about that in a second. So step 5 is to submit your application with copies of your transcript to your nominating department. Not to the School of Graduate Studies, not to the faculty, to your nominating department. This is the department that you are. If you are pre-selected by the Graduate Award Committee, you will be notified in late September by the School of Graduate Studies, and we are going to be notifying to FRQ that you have been selected to move forward to the external competition, and FRQ will be open an account for you. You will be receiving an email from us, and you will be receiving an email from FRQ saying, congratulations, now you can work in your application. So everything that I just said was about the pre-selection process. We here at Concordia, we do all our pre-selection process. We have an internal committee discussing all the applications. This is an interdisciplinary committee, so pay attention to that when you're writing your application. So professors from all the disciplines are going to be reviewing your research proposal, so don't make it very jargony. So once we select the candidates, we have the nominations, we contact FRQ. FRQ will create your account and they will contact you with the steps to follow. You will have to submit a complete application that I will talk about what this means by November 5th. So this is the selection criteria for each of the programs. For masters, they will pay attention to excellence of university record and the scientific quality and interest, almost at the same level. For doctorals, they will also be paying attention to aptitude for research and relevant research experience. Same for postdocs and same for short-term research. So let's talk about the main elements that you will have to complete. As I say, for the PV-EE, for the pre-selection, the pre-application, you will have to complete the pre-selection form, a photocopy of your passport or other official proof of citizenship, transcripts from all your university studies. They can be unofficial, but they have to be in English or in French, so for us to understand them. The 2 letters of reference. And if you have submitted any paper, but the paper hasn't been accepted, the acknowledgement of receipt from the editor. This can be the email that you receive once you submitted your paper. If you have been accepted by the internal process, as I say, FRQ will open a file on FRQNet for you to start with your real application. You will see that the main elements of a PV-EE applications are very similar to what the regular FRQ application is. Here, I put the checklist. You can do a screenshot, but also you will find this in our website. Basically, for a complete, I will just take FRQ-NT as an example because all of them are very similar. For FRQ-NT, you will need another application form that you can download from the website. The proof of Quebec residency or the supervisor form or a letter of admission. A special circumstances letter, they will allow you to write whatever you want to explain about your journey. You will have to write the research experience and contributions, that is attachment at up to 4 pages. You will have to write the personal statement of 1 page. You will have to write a proposed research, a research project that now is 2 pages, bibliography, and transcripts, okay? This is similar to FRQ-SC and also similar to FRQ-S. So now I'm gonna go very quickly for other funding opportunities from the private sector. I'm going to mention the Arbor Foundation. This is open to Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and international students who are enrolled in a master's degree or a PhD degree, but only in this field of studies: engineering, computer science, or business administration. And here you have the programs. They will allow some course-based programs such as the MBA or the Masters of Engineering. The deadline is around mid-May. For this year, it already passed, but start thinking for next year. Okay, we're gonna do some info sessions at the beginning of the year, so keep an eye on this one. The Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation, this is only for first or second year PhD students. The value is $40,000 per year for 3 years. This is a highly competitive award. They will require for you to be an international student that is enrolled in a doctoral program at the Canadian University. So if you're already in Concordia, then you should be able to apply. The field of study, they have to fall into the 4 foundations themes. You have it here. For this year was Human Rights and Dignity, Responsible Citizenship, Canada and the World, and People and Their Natural Environment. The application deadline for this year is going to be around December. Around September, we're going to have an info session to talk about the Trudeau Foundation. And finally, the Mackenzie King Memorial Scholarship. This is only for international students, internationals or national or Canadians. It doesn't matter the nationality, but they have to be graduated of any Canadian university. So if you're just starting your program and you did your previous programs in an international university, then you're not eligible. But let's say you're starting your PhD program and you finish a master program here in Concordia or in Canada, then you are eligible. You have to have a degree. It doesn't mean that you have to be enrolled in a degree. You have to have a degree from Canada. The amount, it varies. The deadline, again, it already passed, is the February 1st, but the applications can be found also in our website. One of the things that I want to mention is the funding timeline. We've been seeing how the deadlines only happen once a year. So I want you to have an idea of how this is going to be working, because if you're missing the deadline for this year, then you will have to wait a whole year. So July to August, that we are now, all the agencies are starting to post their details. August to September, me with GradPro Skills, we have a lot of info sessions and workshops available. You can find them in the GradPro Skills website. September to December is usually when all the applications are due. Of course, we have exceptions like Arbor or Mackenzie, but they also happen once a year. December to March is when the applications are reviewed. April to June is when the results are announced. So what I'm trying to say with this, if you apply for PUEEE, if you are applying for FRQ or tri-agency this year, the soonest that you can have the money will be summer 2026, okay? And if you don't apply this year, then you will have to wait a whole year. And the last thing that I want to say is that all the information presented here is actually from 2024. All the updated information will be posted at each agency, but regularly check the School of Graduate Studies website. It looks like this. You can go and scroll down and you will have all the information of all the awards that I've said. And if you click here in this tiny button at the lower right, you will have the graduate funding application preparation. Here you have tons of resources. You can book a meeting with Catherine or with myself. You have Word Open competitions, and you have all these videos like the one that I'm talking. I have many different videos that you can review on your own time, and you have frequently asked questions as well. So we are here to help you, to get you ready. Applying for an award, being an international student, can be very, very challenging. So please don't do it alone. Just contact us and we can try to advise as much as we can. So this is the Graduates Award team. As I say, you can contact Catherine, you can contact me, and we can help you to not go crazy applying for all these awards. Thank you.